Ever seen a video online maybe, and something just felt a bit off?
Uh-huh.
Like maybe the person's eyes didn't quite move right, or their voice sounded, I don't know, slightly robotic.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, chances are you might have bumped into AI-generated synthetic media. It's not sci-fi anymore. It's really here.
Oh, absolutely. It's here and it's evolving incredibly fast. What
Mhm.
used to be stuck in research labs is now, well, it's popping up all over our digital lives.
Right.
We're talking about AI that can generate, manipulate text, images, audio, video, pretty much everything, really. And the realism, it's frankly astonishing sometimes.
So welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are jumping right into this fascinating and, let's be honest, slightly wild world of AI-generated synthetic media.
Mhm.
We're going to look at what makes it work, the amazing things it might enable, but also, some of the trickier questions it throws up for us. And for you listening in, especially if you're keeping tabs on the tech world and want to get ahead of the curve, this is, well, it's pretty crucial stuff to understand.
Yeah, our mission today is pretty straightforward, actually. We want to give you a really solid foundational understanding of AI synthetic media.
Okay.
We've dug through quite a bit, briefings, timelines, analyses, just to piece together a clear picture. What is it? How did we get here? Where is it being used? What are the big challenges? And sort of how are we trying to get a handle on it all?
All right. Sounds good. So let's get down to brass tacks then. When we say synthetic media, what exactly are we talking about?
Okay, simply put, it's media data, images, video, text, you name it, that's been artificially produced or manipulated or modified.
Right.
And the key thing is it uses AI, uses machine learning to do it automatically. Think of it like AI becoming a content creator itself. And the real game changer, the thing that's causing all the buzz, is its ability to make stuff that looks, sounds, what feels remarkably real. It blurs those lines,
Yeah.
between what's authentic and what's fabricated.
So this isn't just like advanced photo editing we're discussing. It's a whole different ballgame.
Totally different. We're now seeing AI that can, say, generate a completely new photorealistic image just from a text description someone types in.
Wow.
Or create human-sounding voices that are getting harder and harder to tell from the real thing. Or even produce videos. Deepfakes, as they're often called, of people saying and doing things they never actually did.
Right. The deepfakes get a lot of headlines.
They do, and that term usually refers to those really convincing fake videos or audio clips. But synthetic media is broader than that. It includes AI art, algorithms painting pictures.
Yeah, I've seen some of that.
Or AI writing an article or generating natural-sounding speech for accessibility. It covers a lot of ground.
Okay. And the tech behind this, it's moved incredibly quickly, hasn't it? I remember hearing about GANs a few years back. What were they?
You're right. GANs, Generative Adversarial Networks, were a huge leap. Basically, you had two AI systems kind of fighting each other.
Okay.
One, the generator, tries its best to create fake stuff, images, whatever. The other, the discriminator, tries to spot the fakes.
Like a competition.
Exactly, a constant competition. And because they're both learning from each other, they both get better and better, pushing the generator to create incredibly realistic fakes. It was like this digital arms race happening inside the computer.
That's a neat way to put it. So GANs were kind of the main thing for a while.
They were, yeah, very influential. But more recently, diffusion models have really taken center stage.
Diffusion models, how do they work?
They take a different approach. Instead of that adversarial sort of battle, they learn by gradually removing noise or static from data. Imagine starting with just fuzz, like TV static. And the AI learns, step by step, how to reverse that process, how to turn the noise back into a clear, coherent image or sound. It allows for incredibly fine detail and, well, often more photorealistic results than GANs could achieve.
Huh. So it's like sculpting from noise instead of fighting a detector.
It's a good way to think about it, yeah. And the trend now, it's towards what people call multimodal approaches.
We're multi-man.
Meaning AI systems that use information from different sources, different modalities together. So maybe combining audio cues with visual ones or text prompts with image generation.
So mixing and matching inputs.
Exactly, which makes the resulting synthetic media even more convincing and, frankly, much harder to detect sometimes. Understanding this evolution from GANs to diffusion to multimodal is really key if you want to grasp where digital content is going.
Definitely. Okay, so we've got the what and a bit of the how. Let's talk about the different types of synthetic media we're actually seeing out there, and maybe the good and the not so good sides of each.
Sure. Let's start with text. AI is getting really good at generating text, right? Everything from simple chatbot answers to, well, entire articles.
Right.
The upside: obvious efficiency gains. You can create content quickly, personalize communication massively.
But the downside?
Well, the potential for spreading misinformation at scale or just flooding the internet with automated spam or low-quality content, that's a big worry.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, what about images? AI art is everywhere now, it seems.
It is. And image synthesis, it offers amazing creative tools, right? New forms of art. Plus, it can be a really cost-effective way for businesses or creators to get visuals.
True, but the risks?
The risks are serious, creating fake photographic evidence for scams or propaganda, or, and this is really concerning, generating non-consensual intimate images, deepfake porn. That's a truly harmful application.
Yeah, that's incredibly disturbing. Okay, moving to audio. Voice cloning tech, it's kind of mind-blowing, but also a bit creepy.
It's definitely both. On the positive side, speech synthesis is huge for accessibility. Think text-to-speech for people with visual impairments or realistic voiceovers for localizing content in different languages. It can even give a voice back to people who've lost theirs.
That's amazing, actually.
It really is. But the flip side is the risk of fraud. Imagine someone cloning your voice to scam your family or access your bank account. It seriously undermines trust in audio verification.
Oof. Yeah, that's a scary thought. And then video. The deepfakes we talked about.
Right. Video synthesis. In entertainment, it offers cool possibilities, cost-effective special effects, maybe even de-aging actors convincingly or creating virtual characters.
Wow.
But the potential for political disinformation, for manipulating public opinion with fake videos of leaders saying things they never said, that's a massive risk to democracy and public discourse.
Absolutely. It could cause chaos. And finally, what about these virtual humans?
Yeah.
Avatars.
Yeah, digital personas, they can create really engaging, interactive experiences. Think virtual customer service agents or even virtual influencers on social media.
Right.
But they also blur those lines of identity, don't they? Who are you really talking to? They could easily be misused in sophisticated scams. And one surprising thing here is just the speed of improvement. Some of the latest virtual humans, especially those using these diffusion models, are becoming almost indistinguishable from real people in video calls or photos.
Wow. That realism barrier is just crumbling, isn't it?
It really is, which makes understanding all this even more urgent.
Okay, so beyond these specific types, let's zoom out a bit. What are some of the big positive opportunities opening up across different sectors?
Oh, the potential is huge, really. In creative industries, entertainment, music, art, we're looking at, well, unprecedented possibilities for content creation. AI-generated music scores, virtual actors, those virtual influencers we mentioned.
Right.
It could also make production much more efficient, maybe lowering barriers for independent creators.
So, potentially democratizing things a bit.
Potentially, yes. Then think about journalism. AI tools could help journalists, maybe by summarizing large amounts of data or generating first drafts of routine reports, freeing them up for deeper investigation. With ethical guardrails, of course.
How for it?
In education, imagine personalized learning paths tailored by AI, virtual tutors available 24/7, or even AI generating accessible materials like translations or sign language interpretations.
That could be transformative.
Absolutely. Advertising is another big one, highly customized, engaging ad content created on the fly. And accessibility, we touched on it, but text-to-speech, image descriptions for the visually impaired, voice cloning for those who need it, real quality of life improvements. Even in high-stakes fields like medicine or emergency response, AI can create incredibly realistic simulations for training without any real-world risk. So the applications are really varied and, well, potentially very beneficial.
It's definitely exciting to think about those upsides. Okay, but we have to talk about the other side of the coin. Let's pivot now to the significant risks and ethical challenges. These seem pretty daunting.
They are. And perhaps the biggest, most talked about concern is misinformation and deception. We've mentioned deepfakes impersonating people.
Yeah.
That poses a direct threat to, well, everything. Public discourse, political processes, personal reputations. We've already seen real-world attempts to use manipulated media to sway opinions or defame individuals. It's not theoretical.
And not just about fake news, right?
Yeah.
There are cybersecurity angles, too.
Exactly. Think about highly realistic phishing attacks using synthetic voice or video to trick someone into giving up credentials or money. AI systems themselves could be attacked, their models manipulated. Data breaches could expose biometric data used to train these models. It gets complex.
And legally, ethically, who's responsible when an AI creates something harmful?
That is a massive question right now. Accountability is incredibly tricky. Who owns the copyright when an AI generates art in the style of a famous painter without consent?
Good question.
What about intellectual property generally? Then there's outright fraud, scams, identity theft using synthetic voices, or creating fake profiles. We mentioned the horror of non-consensual deepfake pornography.
Right.
Plus, there's the issue of bias. AI models learn from data, and if that data reflects societal biases, the AI can perpetuate or even amplify them.
So biased AI creating biased content.
Potentially, yes. And don't forget, potential job displacement in creative fields as AI gets better at content creation. But maybe the most fundamental risk is this idea of the liar's dividend.
The liar's dividend.
Yeah, the idea that as people become aware that sophisticated fakes exist, they might start disbelieving authentic media too. Dismissing real evidence as a deepfake. It erodes trust across the board.
Wow. That's a profound challenge. It really makes you think, doesn't it? For you listening, how do you maintain trust when almost anything could theoretically be faked?
It's the core dilemma we're facing.
So given all these risks, what's being done? What are the strategies to, detect this stuff and mitigate the harm?
Well, there's a ton of research going into technical detection. Scientists are constantly looking for those tiny flaws, those digital fingerprints that AI might leave behind.
Like subtle inconsistencies.
Exactly, things the human eye might miss. Analyzing audio frequencies, looking at how light reflects in video, checking for weird textual patterns. And these newer techniques, like using vision language models or multimodal large language models,
Okay.
they try to spot discrepancies between different data types, like does the lip movement perfectly match the audio? Does the image background make sense with the described scene? They're getting more sophisticated.
So fighting AI with AI, essentially.
In many ways, yes. But detection alone isn't enough. There are also proactive defenses being developed, things like digital watermarking.
Embedding hidden signals.
Right. Embedding invisible or robust signals into AI-generated content to prove its origin. Or developing authentication systems and technical standards so we can trace where media came from, its provenance.
Like a digital chain of custody.
Sort of, yeah. And then there's the human element. Education is crucial, making people aware of these technologies, improving media literacy so folks can be more critical consumers of information.
Spotting the fakes yourself, or at least being skeptical.
Exactly. And finally, there's policy and governance. We'll likely need clear guidelines, maybe even regulations, around the ethical development and deployment of synthetic media tech. It's really a multi-pronged approach.
It sounds like a constant race, though. The fakes get better, the detection gets better.
It absolutely is an ongoing race, and challenges remain, especially with things like diffusion models, which can be harder to detect, and the effects of simple things like video compression, which can wipe out subtle detection clues.
Right. So looking ahead then, what are the big trends you see shaping this field? And how does society, adapt to all this?
I think we'll definitely see more technological convergence. AI tools that seamlessly blend text, image, audio, video capabilities into one platform. Creating complex, multi-layered synthetic content will get easier. A huge focus, hopefully, will be on balancing that rapid innovation with responsible development. That's going to require real collaboration, researchers, tech companies, policymakers, civil society, all working together.
Easier said than done, maybe.
Perhaps, but essential. And for society, we'll need to adapt. That means developing new forms of media literacy, maybe relying more on trusted sources and verification systems. Social norms around authenticity might shift.
What do you mean?
Well, maybe we become more accepting of certain types of synthetic media in entertainment or art while demanding much higher standards of verification for news or political communication. It's about context.
Right. Context becomes critical.
Critically important, and the long-term impact on social trust. It could go either way. It could be further eroded, or perhaps robust verification tools could actually strengthen trust in authenticated sources. We'll have to see. The potential societal, economic, political shifts are potentially enormous.
It really feels like we're navigating uncharted waters here.
We absolutely are. And staying informed, being proactive, asking critical questions, that's going to be essential for everyone.
Well, this has certainly been a deep dive, hasn't it? Into AI synthetic media.
Yeah.
It's so clear this technology is incredibly powerful. Huge potential, but wow, some significant challenges too.
Absolutely. I think the main takeaway really is just how fast this is moving and how vital it is to understand its capabilities, both the good and the bad, as it keeps evolving.
Yeah. So here's a final thought to leave you with. As AI gets better and better at creating and, well, faking reality, how are we going to navigate a world where those lines between what's real and artificial just keep getting blurrier?
That's the multi-billion-dollar question, isn't it? It really highlights why staying informed and thinking critically about the media you consume is more important than ever.
You've just taken a deep dive into AI synthetic media. If you found this insightful and you want to unpack more cutting-edge topics like this, definitely make sure you subscribe to the deep dive. You'll get your regular dose of in-depth knowledge right here.
And for even more on AI specifically, maybe you want tutorials or some deeper technical insights, you should check out Ian Ochieng AI on YouTube. There's a ton of great information there to really expand your understanding.
Great stuff. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive.